Welcome back to Dodge Tools. I'm Tom. Well, I got a kind of an interesting project here for you guys today. It's a little plastic turning job, and there's some actually really good lathe techniques and tool techniques in this that are worth checking out. And then there's a message at the end. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so let's take a look at the drawing, and then we'll fly over to the lathe and turn some stuff. Here's our little challenge part. This is made out of plastic, and it presents some challenges. We have a taper, we have a slenderness ratio, is what we call it, diameter to length, and we have a taper that terminates. The desire is to have a pretty sharp tip. So yes, that presents some problems, but there's some ways of handling that with tooling and technique to make something like this actually fairly easy. So this is 2.5 inches long, and I don't know, what is that? That's 60 millimeters or whatever, or something like that, right? And the diameter is 0.80, right? So that's what is that, like 30 to 1 or something slenderness ratio, right? Somewhere in that region, and which presents some challenges, for any kind of shafting, even if it was actually fairly large, to turn it and turn it unsupported. That's the key there. So anyway, let's go over to the lathe. Let's get quacking on this and see what we can do. All right. So here's our starting material. It's 25 millimeters in diameter, 25.4, whatever. And we're 2.5 inches long is our finished part, but we need a little bit of clearance to get in there with a parting tool and knock that thing off. So I'm going to leave a 1/4 inch. That's probably fine. Okay. So you'll notice I'm starting with some fairly large diameter stock, right? Well, the reason for that is this is stiff, right, in bending. So it really helps support the part as we work on it. So if everything's perfect, you could just turn this a little bit at a time and just keep moving along here, and then your part would just emerge out of there, which is kind of what we're going to do. So you'll see that. So the second thing is the tool here, and what we got here is we have a high-speed steel tool, and it's been ground and actually lapped on the edge so that it's just razor sharp, and tiny little nose radius on it, not much at all. I don't want any. I want kind of minimal pushing forces to deflect my point that we need there. So the other thing, when you have to turn to kind of a minimum diameter there, it's really important that your tool is dead nuts on the center. And so that takes extra care. And, so you're not going to be using the ruler trick to set your tool. You really need it pretty much spot on center. And within thousandths or better, actually. So and then it'll behave itself. So anyway, here's our basic setup, and I got a grooving tool, but you'll see that in a minute when we cut the groove, the rings in the rear end of that thing. So. When you got no pip, that's when you got pretty good on center there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it back a little ways. So it's probably 1/2 inch. I'm just going to peel this off in one shot here. Back about 1/2 inch, which is the taper. So what that is, that represents the tapered section of our part. And but you can see it's still well supported by this large diameter here, and then you know, this is actually still fairly stiff too. So, all right, get this out of our way. All right, now I have to feed with the compound. The compound's already set at 5 degrees, which will produce a 10-degree included angle. So I'm going to come in, get close to where I want to be, which is right about there, okay, and go from there. All right, I'm going to feed with the compound now. Nice and slow. Don't stick your finger in there. All right, I'm going to come back to my starting place. I'm going to step turn this. I'm going to come into my finish diameter here. Which is what is it? Oh, 80, right? I don't want to have too much left to machine there, like that. You gotta be careful there. The chips can actually damage the part pretty easily. So, all right, let's come in again. And then it's kind of rinse and repeat here. I'm clearing out the chip pan so that I don't accidentally vacuum it out by catching a chip in there. Okay. And off we continue on. Okay. All right, well now we got a long skinny thingamajiggy. So this thing has basically no strength at all at this point, but we still got to put our little grooves in the this end of it here. Now, you know, we could cut it off and we could rechuck it, but that's no fun. Let's do it the hard way. So let's get this out of here. And we're gonna go to our little, oops, don't hit it, Tom. Little tiny grooving tool there. Right. Okay, so like I said before, this thing is completely floppy, right? And you know, if we drive this tool into this, it's just going to push it out of the way. So what I got here is I got a little guide. Okay, this is going to go in the tailstock, and I've got I think that's Rulon, a little piece that's just pressed into a tube here. That's going to go in the tailstock, and it's going to be like a little miniature steady rest. We're going to slide it up right next to the tool. And oops, I don't want to dink this point. We're going to slide it right up next to the tool, and it's going to help support that when we turn that little ring groove on there. So sneak it up nice and close, and we can get, you know, like right up next to the tool like that. Okay, I think we're ready. We're close. Just a reminder, these tools have been calibrated already, okay? So, you know, I did that off camera. All right, so our diameter, 068. Let's put it down here in the right spot. Get a measuring tool in there. 3 right there. All right, and I'm going to extend this out just a little more, like that, right up next to where we're the business. And actually, in fact, you know what? I'm just gonna knock this thing off right now, and that's gonna be my little catcher, sleeve. Let's just do it. We're just going to put this on hand tight. You don't need the Conan death grip on that, okay? And we're just going to face that little, it's really hard to see there. There's a little pip on there. We're just going to face that off. Sneak that little bit off there. I'm holding it in a ER collet because it's so small. There we go. It's so damn small. Slightly polish that edge a little bit. Okay, I think we're done. Take a look at it. Oh yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay. All right. Yeah. And then our public service announcement for this is it's okay to be different in a sea of sameness. Thanks for watching, guys.